Hi there, this is Pranav from DBS Diary. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on geographic location. I hope you are doing great today. So today we are going to cover about the cache. So how do we configure the cache in Sybase? How do we create different pool? How do we allocate memory to that? Then partitioning in the cache. Okay, how to create named cache? How to do the binding? So we are going to cover all that. So this is very important topic, and part of it I will be sharing it in the public domain. However, the complete video will be there in my session. Okay, so you can buy that. And thank you for tuning in case of any question, please feel free to drop your comment. I will answer them when I get a chance. And you can also drop me an email, or you can contact me through contact me form on the website. Okay, so let's start. So what I have done is I have prepared setup command which I will be going to execute in my lab, and then I will show you how it actually works and how to validate that and how to do the changes in different aspects of it. So as I mentioned before, so it's about number of cache. Okay, so one is default data cache, which is system defined. Then we can create our own cache, which is user defined cache. Then how to add pool into that, how to allocate memory to that, how to shift memory from one pool to another pool, and then how does it work default, then the changing cache partitioning, and all that about the binding of cache to a table or to a specific index. So we can do all the binding. So and then you can also do the like cache binding with specific table, which is very much used. So okay, so I'm not going to cover all of that, but some important aspect I'm going to cover, and then we'll see how it actually works, right? So let me start recording here for the lab. Okay, so I have the server here, which I have showed you before. So ASE1 is what I'm having. So you can see server name is ASE1. Okay, so I'm going to log into this. So now let us log in ISQL -s ASE1. I'm going to use the login SA and use that window size. Okay, so now as I mentioned before, so this will be having some default cache, right? So let us do sp underscore cache config is the command to see which all cache you currently have, and then what is the size of that. Okay, so you see default data cache. Okay, it's active. The config value is 8 MB and run value is 8 MB. Even this we will talk. So there are certain changes which is dynamic when you do the cache configuration, and when you reduce something, okay, or do the partitioning change, or change the what you call like config replacement, or the way it does this, like strict LRU or MRU or strict to relaxed, those things are static. You can just find them out on a broad level. So at a higher level, you can say any increment is mostly dynamic, okay, except the partitioning, and any reduction is mostly static. So if you want to reduce the size of cache, okay, that is static. If you want to remove one pool from a cache, that is static. Okay, so we will see all that, and then we'll also show you how do we allocate more memory, and as I mentioned, so we'll cover all of that one by one. Okay, so this is how you have to check the existing configuration of cache, right? So let us see what all command I have prepared. So you can see now here you see default data cache. Now if you have multiple cache, right, so then what you can do is you can pass the parameter here, default or the name of the cache, and then it will display all the property about that cache only. So at this point of time we have only one cache, so whether you pass the argument or you don't pass it, it doesn't matter, because in both case it will show only one cache, right? Okay, so now what we are going to do is, now before we extend anything, okay, so we should check whether we have enough memory in the system or no. Okay, so how do we do that? So let us run sp underscore configure and memory. So this will actually tell us how much memory is currently there in the system. Okay. So you see we have around 124 MB memory which is available, 124 28 248, so 124,000 KB. So that means it is select, you can do 124 248 divided by 1024 is what is your mix, okay, megabytes. Around 121 MB memory we have available. So this is my local lab, so we are going to talk mostly in terms of MB. However, in your case or in the like client environment, these things will be in GB. Okay, I have not seen anything TB yet in terms of memory, but if you have, then you can even deal in terms of TB. Otherwise, it will be mostly in terms of GB. So you can do all that configuration either in pages or in KB or in MB or GB or whichever, if it is TB in applicable to your environment, right? Okay, so now what we'll do is, now we'll do something more. So we will increase the size of default data cache now. So as you saw, it was 8 MB before, right? Now we are going to make it to 10 MB. So as I mentioned before, so this is something which we are going to extend it, right? So when we are going to extend means it will be dynamic, right? So you can see here 2048 KB kilobyte added successfully to named cache, changes takes effect immediately. So it's a dynamic like parameter. So now if you see that cache config and the value, so now it is 10 MB. So all of that is going to the 4 KB pool size. Okay, right now we don't have any other pool size, so everything is going to 4K. Okay, so here before I move forward, so here the page size is 4K. Okay, in my lab the current page size is 4K. So if you have 8K page size, so that pool will start with 8K. If you have 16K page size, it will start with 16K. Okay, and how much we can go up to, that also I will show you. We'll cover that in the lab. Okay, so we have seen that. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to create a 8K pool size and we'll allocate 2 MB memory in that. So currently what we have is 4K. Now we are going to create one pool which will be for the 8K. So the command is pool config sp_pool config, the cache name. So here it's default data cache. If you have named cache, you can give the name of that cache, then the size of that and the pool name. Okay, so now it is 8K. So now if you do sp_cache config, okay, and see how it is now. So before it was 10 MB which was there in the 4K. Now it is 8 MB only 4K, and the 2 MB that we allocated to 8K has gone to 8K, and so the first pool which was 4K has become now 8 MB. It's not 10 MB anymore. Okay, so all clear? Okay, now what we'll do is, we'll do the next thing. So we'll create one more pool now, 16K, and we will allocate 2 MB again here. So since we are going to allocate 2 MB, so by default it will take from the 4K pool. Okay, so now what will happen is, after this change, so the 4K pool, the run size will become 6 MB. Okay, you see that? So 6 MB, 2 MB, 2 MB, because we are allocating 2 MB, so by default it will go from 4K pool. Okay, we also have option, we can actually transfer from 8K pool also, from 8K to 16K or from 16K to 8K, all that combination we can do. Okay, so that is fine, so far so good. Now what you want to do is, you want to change the wash size. Okay, so you see the wash size right now for 8K is how much? 8K is currently set as 408. Okay, what we can do is, we can change the wash size of this to 816K. Now it might come to your mind, what is the wash size? Okay, so you can read more about that, but you have to understand in this way. There is concept of dirty pages, right? So when you have dirty page that's loaded into the cache, I mean when you do some commit and it has not been committed, it has not been returned to disk. Okay, so when it loads from there, before writing to disk, those are there in the dirty pages. So then there has to be a wash area where those things will be cleaned up. So if you have more volume of data, then wash area is very important, and you should size it appropriately. Otherwise it will be very slow, because if the size is very small, so washing will be taking longer time before it is flushed to disk. Okay, so let's do this and now see how it changes. So sp_cache config one more time and see how the wash area is changed for the 8K pool only. Other pools are intact, there is no difference in that. Okay, so far so good. Now what we'll do is we'll move to the next change. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to change the wash. I mean, I already showed you how to do the wash change for one pool, so you can do for the other one also. I will not show you that. Now what we'll do is we'll create another cache. So now this is about the user defined cache. Okay,